Hello! Hello, hello! I hope this is coming through okay. It seems like it is. You made it? Nice! Welcome back, Lewis. Hello! I apologize for taking like 5 minutes to start, but you know, we're here now. Everything's fine. Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, this is not Rena. I am on my main today. Is I'm gonna be showing off some uh some rotational stuff, and I will probably go and do some solo duties or something like that. Main is spicy. Yes, the main is spicy. I've done a little bit. I've been playing for a little bit. Thank you for the bang, Clara. But anywho, hello, hello, welcome, everybody. Um, in case you weren't made aware, or you aren't in the Discord, tonight I'm going to be. This is going to be a bit of a different stream, okay? Oh, you know what? I should turn off my well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. The chat is covering it anyway. Tonight is going to be a bit of a different stream. I am, as you guys know, or probably know, I am regularly running, raids in the Discord server, like FF14 raids weekly, every weekend. I run 3 of them every weekend, and not including myself, there are 7 spots in each raid, so there's 21 slots for people, and we have about 15 regular members. So, that came from Wolfie. Alright, fair enough, I guess. So if you aren't raiding or you want to join, and this sounds like a lot of fun, feel free and join the Discord. We would love to have you. As always, hold on, I can go do the command. The legendary command. Anyway, but yeah, today's gonna be a bit of a different stream, because it's gonna be a lot of me talking. So, you know, make sure you have a seat. Make sure you're all taken care of. If you want to have some food while listening to me yap, you can do that. If you want to put me in the background while doing your dailies, go for it. But, yeah, we're gonna just, we're gonna be yapping a lot. And at any point, feel free to enter, like, if you have a question, feel free to type it in the stream chat if you would like. This is also going up on YouTube, so, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, hi YouTube, hi VODs channel, but, if you're watching this there, is mayonnaise an instrument? No. I'm sorry. But, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can feel free to, send me a message in either Discord, if you're in the Discord server, if you have a question or something like that, or, you know, if you're not in the Discord, you can always leave a comment in the YouTube video, and I will see it, I promise. But my main goal here is to kind of set up a really healthy way, or introduce high-end content in 14 and rating and stuff, not to be this big scary whatever, but something that anyone can do And I think everyone should attempt it. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think that high-end rating is some of the best content that this game has to offer, and I think nobody should be scared off by just the difficulty of the content. I think it's very doable by everyone, as long as you want to do it, and as long as you put your mind to it, and as long as you, you know, you make a clear and concise effort into it. You don't look for a carry or something like that, then you'll clear every piece of content. I promise. Even the hardest content in the game, like even ultimates, even other stuff like that. Um, you'll be able to clear that stuff. But clearing that level of content takes a different mindset than approaching the main story does. So, if you've played any amount of FF14, you know that the story is a lot of go to one NPC, read about 4 boxes of dialogue, go to the next NPC, read about 4 boxes of dialogue, go to the next NPC, watch a cutscene, right? And that's like most of the main story experience. It's more of a visual novel than anything else. But when you do, and then like when you do come across the occasional dungeon or trial or whatever, they're not, by and large, 85 to 90% of them are not that difficult. As long as you're paying attention and you read the tutorials that the game gives you, the little active help windows, you'll do just fine. You'll do just fine. Maybe every once in a while you'll run into a trial that'll actually put you on your butt. And make you pay attention. But like, by and large, if you're paying attention and you're hitting your buttons and you're doing this, that, or the other thing, they're not hard. Not even tanking isn't hard. Healing isn't hard. DPS isn't hard. It's not that hard. Even in Dawn Trail, I would say, which did have a step up in difficulty. I'll give it credit where credit is due. Dawn Trail did have a step up in difficulty, and so did Shadowbringers, and so did Stormblood. But the amount of time investment that you had to have by that point in the game, hi Rex, is to such a degree that I believe the average player would be more than competent enough to tackle the content that's at those levels, you know, when you reach that point. Except maybe Dawn Trail. Dawn Trail is a significant step up, but it's not ridiculous. It is a significant step up, but by that point you're level 90. You should know your kit. You've been playing for Hydaelyn knows how long. Yeah, Hydaelyn knows how long. And you know, you should at least have some measure of competency at your chosen job. That being said, high-end content is a little bit different, because generally speaking, high-end content is a significant step up in difficulty from the normal content of the same expansion. And then, as another rule of thumb, here, Full, think it's time to take a break. No. Anyway, I don't know if the stream can see my playtime that clearly down there, but it says 123 days of playtime. I've played on my main for a little over 4 months. That's horrifying. Anyway. Why is my chat window not scrolling? Child's Play. Yeah, well, you've played on your main a little more than I have, especially in recently. Well, anywho. So, where to begin? I am going to operate under the assumption, Mr. Back in My Day, exactly, that's who he is. I'm going to operate under the assumption that I know a lot of people watching on stream right now have quite a measure of experience with high-end content because you guys have been doing the raids with me in Discord. But I'm still gonna operate under the experience or under the assumption that if there's someone watching this who hasn't wanted to tackle high-end content yet and is wondering if it's for them, you know, this is going to be a giant hodgepodge of just tips and tricks and definitions and stuff just from my, oh goodness, years. It's been like 6 years, 7 years, 6 or 7 years since I started playing. Which is not as long as a lot of people, but it's a long time. And it's just some tips and tricks and helpful whatevers that I can share that hopefully give you a little bit more confidence to be able to take that step and be able to step up and say, yeah, I want to give this a shot, you know? Yeah, I want to learn. And that's where I want to start, is how to have the right mindset for raiding, because and to any current raiders, especially end game raiders, like, this is pretty, well, actually there is one thing I want to cover before we go into mindset, but I'll cover that in a second. Especially end game raiders, there is like something that they all take for granted, is having the right mindset for raiding. Because I'm gonna level with you, everyone, and I really do mean everyone, is going to make a mistake that will cause a wipe. I don't care how long you've been playing, I don't care how experienced you are, I don't care how well you know the fight, it's gonna happen. You could know the fight like the back of your hand. You could recite it backwards with your eyes closed based off of sound cues, okay? Which is really just targeting lines. And you would still make mistakes, because mistakes happen. They just do. Especially if you've been raiding for like a extended period, like a extended session. Longer raiding sessions take more stamina. And so I want to stress the importance of the open mindset versus a closed mindset. And that's just kind of what I'll call it. You'll hear different people call it different things, but that's just what I'm gonna call it. Open mindsets are, or people who have an open mindset, are people who are more willing to learn, more willing to make mistakes, more willing to accept responsibility for those mistakes. People with open mindsets, they'll understand that, like, everybody makes mistakes, you know? Everyone will cause at least one wipe in their history of raiding. If you're lucky enough, you'll get to cause tens or hundreds of wipes, because it's just a thing that happens. You make a mistake, you learn, and you move on. Part of the experience of running high-end content is learning how to fail mechanics and learning how to wipe, and second part of that is learning how to come back from that and still have the positivity and the clarity of mind to be able to clear even after a wipe. Think about it like in school, right? take your mind all the way back to elementary school. I'm gonna get a drink of water. If you got, if you bombed a test back in school, that didn't mean that you failed the class. That didn't mean that the professor or the teacher was disappointed in you. None of that. And I know that some people come from a background where, like, they would have people in their lives that were disappointed by a failing grade. But ultimately, as an adult, your grades in elementary school do not matter, Chief. They really, really don't. In much the same way, one failed mechanic in a raid doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like it really, really doesn't. If you fail a mechanic and you cause the whole party to die and you cause a restart, even at like 2% HP, you have two options. Number one, you can give up. You can say, I don't want to do this anymore, and quit. And you'll never have the satisfaction of claiming victory over that fight, of clearing it for the first time. You'll never have that. Simultaneously, you won't have the stress of trying to. Or instead of giving up, you can make an active decision to learn from your mistake to the best of your ability and go again. And go again, and go again, and go again. That's the nature behind raiding. That is what it's all about. People with open mindsets know that when you make a mistake, it's not the end of the day. One more pull. Exactly. It's the one more pull chant. It's the we got this in the bag. It's the time to lock in. It's the, like, all of those things. Whatever it takes for you to get up and go again is what it takes. But the important thing is that you do. Because if you don't, you're giving up. And if you give up, well, that's failure. That's true failure. A closed mindset is someone who doesn't know how to come back from that mistake. Someone who is unwilling to learn or put in the effort to make mistakes or accept responsibility for those mistakes. You'll often see, even in random groups, you'll see people with closed mindsets all the time in random groups who shouldn't be raiding but are doing it anyway. And they're people who prioritize clearing the content and receiving the rewards rather than learning the fight. They're the people who look for carries. They're the people who look to put together a capable group and then kick everyone as soon as they get their one clear or whatever they need. Because they're only at it for themselves. Every fight asks the team to execute complicated mechanics together and to use coordination and teamwork together. But because that's the skills that the content is asking you to perform in, closed-minded people will often make high-end raiding a very, very miserable, unfun experience, not just for those around them, but also for themselves. And so I really want to stress the importance of an open versus closed mindset and how important it is to be able to pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and go again. You know, don't let last pull's mistakes get in your head and stay in your head and cause you to begin to snowball or spiral or something like that. Like, it is so important to be able to like move on from mistakes like that. Like, you gotta have a short memory when it comes to raiding, and having that short memory and being able to let go of mistakes like that, especially if that's a difficult skill, it's gonna take practice. And the only way I can recommend, like, the only method I can recommend for getting better at that, at practicing that, is legitimately practice. Go do it. Go mess up. Go make mistakes. You know? Go make genuine, honest mistakes. And practice letting go of them. You know? It doesn't have to be in high-end rating, but it can. It can be in 14, but it can be anywhere, really. And an open mindset is really applicable in all walks of life, not just in 14. So, very valuable skill to learn. I feel like I'm kind of almost parenting, but anyway. It's... Yeah, that's kind of all I've got to say on like an open versus closed mindset. But that's kind of like the one thing you want to have, Raid Dad. Not wrong. Not wrong. That's kind of the one thing you want to have in the back of your head as you step into raiding, is when I do make a mistake, it's not going to be an if. It's going to be a when. Rena is a guild mom, so it checks out. It's not going to be an if. It's going to be a when. I've made mistakes. I've caused wipes. Exponential entry, yes. I have a whole playlist on this Orchestrion, so I'm just letting it go. Boppo took my limit break. Tell him to give it back. Nah, it was just an LB1. You can charge it again. Anyway. Or skill issue. Use it faster. Anyway. Now that we've gotten into that, and I want that to kind of be in the back of your head as you really, like, delve into high-end rating. Your mindset should be your number one priority. Your own health should be your number one priority. But, like, how you approach rating, the mechanics are they're all the same, man. The mechanics are all the same across all the trials. They just look different, man. I promise. I really do. I've done them all. Except for the Dawn Trail ones, but I've done them all, and some of the Endwalkers. But anyway, I've done them all, most of them. I promise you, all the mechanics are the same darn thing. The most important thing is that you can pick yourself up from a mistake. That's the most important thing. If you take away nothing else, take that away. Alright? Now, first of all, does anyone have any questions about anything about mindset stuff or anything in that regard? While I get a drink of water, because this is going to be a long talking stream. I promise, I'm not going to be standing here at this, like, beige wall for the whole stream. You will have something to watch eventually. But for right now, I'm just going to talk at you for probably another 30 minutes. So, if you need some water, go get some water. If you need some food, whatever, go get snacks. But, anyway. I'm not seeing any questions, so we're gonna move on to some definition stuff, because as I was kind of explaining that, I used a lot of terms that people newer to raiding might not. Maybe on topic healer mindset, more gameplay oriented than mentality. I'll talk about mindsets for roles and stuff like that later, like as far as like how you should be thinking when you're playing a certain role, but I'll talk about that later. I'll probably cover that when we go over rotations. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to assume that much like I once was, you are akin to a 4-month-old baby when it comes to high-end content. And you have no idea what those words even mean. So we're just going to start from the top. When I say high-end content, all I'm referencing is, you know, content, aka raids, trials, alliance raids, normal raids, things like that, that were considered endgame when they were current. So, if I open up my duty finder here, and I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger just so you guys can see it a little bit better. Baba Booey, let me come over here. No, not Endwalker. So let's take a Realm Reborn really quick. All of these trials through here are all normal mode, quote. Hold on. Am I being... No. Cat has not arrived yet. Okay. I thought that was what I was being texted about, but we're good, we're good. At some point, I'm gonna need to take like a 5 to 10 minute break, because I am cat sitting for someone else for the next week, and the cat will be showing up at some point in like the next hour and a half. I don't know exactly when, but so whenever that happens, I'm gonna just throw it onto the be right back screen, and that'll be a small break that we can take. But anyway, Kitty, exactly. But so all of these trials are considered normal, quote, normal mode trials, right? This is normal content. Even if it says hard, that doesn't mean anything, Chief. I promise, that doesn't mean anything. That just means it's 8-man. That's all that means. This normal Howling Eye is 4-man. This hard mode tag is 8-man. That's all that means. It means this is 8 players. This is 4. That's it. That's all that means. And I guess there's like 2 more mechanics. So, but like, it's still normal mode. Then you see high-end trials. This is the stuff I'm talking about. This, when it was released, was endgame. So, Minstrel's Ballad Ultima's Bane, also known as Ultima Weapon Extreme. High-end trial. Howling Eye Extreme, high-end. Naval Extreme, high-end. All of these trials are high-end trials. Technically, Earth's Fount, or Odin, is not high-end content, and he shouldn't be considered high-end content. We're still going to be clearing this in the raids, because there's a quest for it, and you will never get a queue for this stupid trial. Like, never. So we're going to go ahead and snag everyone there clears. If they want to get it done on level, we're going to be doing this as well. But that's just kind of a very special occasion. But yeah, it's content that was considered endgame. So, you know, these extreme trials were once considered endgame back when this was current content. In much the same way, these raids were also high-end content. Now, Realm Reborn is a bit different, so I'm going to use Heavensward as a better example. Alliance raids are still normal content. Normal raids are still normal content. Savage raids are high-end content. This is what we will be doing when we get to Heavensward. This is... It's the stuff that was endgame when it was first released. This is the stuff that's just optional quests or required by MSQ in the case of trials. But, that's what I mean by high-end trials. You'll even see this high-end duty tag over here, which if I flip to that, and let's do, sure, sure, we'll do here, okay. For a minimum amount of spoilers, but it's fine. Oh, okay, I see those. Okay, I know what those two are. So, like, okay, it won't let me queue into it because it requires 8 players, and I am 1, unfortunately. But, like, there's this whole high-end duty, which is, all of the currently high-end content on the current patch. Now, ultimates are a little weird. Ultimates are always considered high-end content because they sync you down to the level that they're at and automatically apply minimum item level sync. And we'll go over what that means in a second. But, like, it'll have the current Savage raids that are currently released. It'll have those. It'll have the current Extreme Trials. It'll have the current Chaotic Alliance raid, right? Like, if I go over here, hello, Cloud of Darkness Chaotic. If you were wondering what it would be like to run World of Darkness, but on Savage difficulty, here you go. With all 24 players running around without a clue of what they're doing. That's what I mean by high-end content. What is bad enough as it is? Yeah, World of Sprouts, yeah. Yeah, there's a Cloud of Darkness Savage. It's nest since when are there Savage Alliance raids? Okay, this is recent. To be fair, this is recent. I think since 7.3 is when this released. I think, don't quote me on that, but I think it was 7.3 when this released. But yes, there's Savage Alliance raids now. Base statement, but too accurate to deny. But yeah, that's what I mean by high-end content. I'm not going to click on that other one because that's spoilers. But Unreal Trials, Extreme Trials, Chaotic Alliance raids, Ultimate raids or trials, Savage raids, all that good stuff, right? Those are all high-end content. I want to stress something though. If you are thinking about getting into this, you know, into high-end content, you should understand that that type of content is not typically available in your daily roulettes here. Because it's treated as a step up in difficulty by the game. It's not impossible or exclusive to the highest skill players. That's what I'm trying to... That's the illusion that I'm trying to, you know, dispel here. Is that anyone can do them, but they are a step up in difficulty, don't get me wrong. And they require cooperation and a willingness to learn, as we covered before, in order to get it clear. But your high-end trials or your high-end content is not going to show up in here. You will not find any extreme trials in the trials roulette. You will not find any chaotic alliance raids in the alliance raid roulette. You will not find any savage raids in the normal raid roulette. The only way you can get queues for them, normally, is by either queuing directly into the darned thing itself and just waiting and just seeing what happens. If you somehow pick up 7 other people, I'm gonna use the word people, who are also just randomly queuing for it. When are they going to give us the Savage Raid Roulette? They technically have. There is an asterisk next to that I haven't gotten to yet. And it's called Mentor Roulette. When you become a mentor in the game, you have access... Well, that's not true. It's not when you become a mentor. It's when you have completed every single piece of instanced content in the game. Which is every single... that's still Shadowbringers. Every single dungeon, right? All of them. Every single guild hest. Every single trial. Every single raid. I think it requires PvP as well, but I could be wrong. Doesn't need Gold Saucer. I don't think. It could. It could, because this is queued. This is instant stuff. So I guess it could, but anyway. There's a mentor roulette for the truly insane. That pulls from everything. It pulls from guild hests. It pulls from extreme trials. It pulls from savage raids. It rarely pulls from that stuff because people rarely queue for it, but it can. As someone who has had it in the past, what are your thought? What is your thought, Bob? The chat is showing up on the stream, right? I'm not crazy. Yeah, it is. Okay. It requires all combat duties done, including high-end content from any expansion previous. Yeah. Oh, so it doesn't require current high-end content, but previous high-end content it does. Or I guess it could require current high-end content. It wouldn't surprise me. Not current? Okay. But regardless, you absolutely could just queue into a high-end whatever, and just roll the dice. It will take hours to get a queue. I'm not even joking with you. It will take hours. What most people do is they come over here to party, and they hit Party Finder. And this is trials, I don't know, trying not to field ops. Here we go. Field ops are a good thing I can just chill on. These are where people go to put together groups, and you will find all sorts of people, all sorts of mixes. You will find all different types of people in Party Finder. I don't recommend it, but it is there if you would like. This Party Finder is why I run weekly raids in the Discord. Is so people don't have to deal with this crap. Because it is stupid. But anywho, there is, I guess, okay, there is one other way people typically do high-end content. So, while you can go into Party Finder and get with a PUG or a pickup group, which is just a group of players that's formed at random. A lot of people will get together with 7 other, like with a static, which is a 8-man team of players who regularly get together. And the differences between a static and a PUG are pretty niche, to be honest with you. Both are both have their ups and downs. So a PUG, a pickup group, a randos, right? A group of randos randoms. Those teams are much more fluid, and those groups, their greatest strength is in like their constantly changing team members. If you don't like someone, you are absolutely welcome to kick them and go recruit another person. Right. Because you can always go recruit another person. Sorry, I'm like hiccuping. So like if you don't like a dude, or they just aren't getting the fight, or what have you, like if they're being difficult, if they're being like a difficult party member, you can very quickly deal with it in a pug group. However, pugs will often struggle with teamwork and collaboration simply due to the fact that they're unfamiliar with each other, right? In the mirror side of that, a static typically has better teamwork and collaboration due to their familiarity with each other, but difficult members in a static will stress the party and will often result in disbanding the static and will often result in souring the experience for everyone. And it's like, it's bad. It's freaking bad. Because it's no longer as easy to boot that one difficult member. Because now you have to find someone who meshes well with your static and knows the fight, and it's a hassle. It's a freaking hassle, man. My experience in other games in solo queuing is getting kicked for not having the meta weapon. Well, good news, that doesn't happen here. That happened back in Destiny, but not here. Because, I mean, there is a meta for jobs, but not really. Not really. It's more important that you cover all 5 roles than that you have one job over another. I'm trying to think of other terminology I use. I'm also scrolling through my... I have like a whole list of like teacher's notes here almost. Like lesson plan notes almost. Of stuff I want to cover that I may not cover them all in their entirety today. There might be a part 2 to this stream, all right? But I'm looking at my list here. Yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah. I think this is the part of the show where I go step outside the FC house and go start showing stuff off, because I need to show some stuff off. I'm just trying to think if there's anything more I need to yap about with just the... Actually has an entire technical white paper. I mean, it's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet points, all with their own miniature points underneath them. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35 different key terms that I want to explain that get used regularly when raiding. But anyway. I've kind of covered all that. Hi, Lux. I thought I heard people. Oh, hi, Lewis. I thought I heard people over here. Anyway. Bob, Bowie. I think the first thing I want to show off, rather than any combat yet, we'll get to combat. We'll get to combat. We'll get to all the fun stuff. But I'm still covering, basic standard yappity stuffs. And the first thing I wanna cover is settings. Settings are super important. They're really helpful. And customizing your settings and keybinds and hotbars and HUD to your no one expected the Asteria Inquisition. I'm in your walls. But customizing the way, like, to make the game a lot more readable is way important. Anyone who is in the raiding groups will tell you that, you know, if you don't have, if you can't read your HUD and it's covering mechanics on the field, it's a problem. So we're just gonna start from the top and work our way down. So I'm gonna start with character configuration. So the difference between character configuration and system configuration is very simple. Character configuration are settings that are only applied on this character. System configuration are global settings that are applied to all your characters. So if I were to change something on my system config and then log out and log in as Rena, the change would be reflected on Rena. But if I were to change something in my character config, that change would only be on my Mylon character. So I'm going to go into character configuration first, because this has the most important things. Actually, wait. I think system config... I don't think this has anything. No. No, I don't think this has anything super important. Volume, obviously, but... yeah, nothing super important. Okay. So we'll start with character configuration. And what is probably the most important setting in this whole darn menu, like of all these different categories with all these different things, is this one right here. This one right here is probably the most important one, because this is how you move. You'll see I have it set to legacy type movement right now. And the difference, but the default is actually standard, is standard movement. What standard movement is that W, S, A, and D are character based. So when I hit W, I walk forward like normal. If I hit S, I slow walk backward. If I do A and D, I spin, right? And if I E and Q by normal, I strafe right and left. The difference is with Legacy, I can walk forward as normal. Hitting A and D actually faces my character in that direction and starts walking in that direction. And then S actually turns around and walks in that direction. So I don't do the slow backup. If I want to do the slow backup, what I can do is I can hold S and like rapidly tap E and Q to strafe right and left if I really wanted to. But when raiding, especially for like, we'll cover this in a second, but especially for gaze mechanics, really easy to just tap S to solve the mechanic. Yeah, but changing your camera direction is annoying. That is fair. That is fair. If you play Legacy, your movement is based off of your camera. So if I switch back to if I switch back to standard type and I move my camera like this and I start walking forward, it's going to snap my camera like that and start walking forward. Or if I do this, like, it snaps my camera with it. Versus Legacy type, as aptly named, camera based. If I spin my camera, it doesn't spin my character. And then now all I have to do is just hold in right click or hold in left click, it doesn't matter. And And now I can move my mouse to move my camera, and I have full range of movement as much as I want. And it does take some, both take some getting used to. The most important thing with these settings is that you are comfortable with them and you know how to use them. I cannot use standard movement for the life of me. I really can't. I cannot get used to it. So I use legacy movement. I will forever and always vouch for legacy movement, especially since I can just tap S to solve gaze mechanics. But anyway, versus I didn't mean to hit active help. Versus standard type, if I wanna solve a gaze, it's kind of a two-step process. I either spin my camera like this and then tap my right click, or I guess I can hold A, or really quickly flip my camera around, but now I can't see the boss, right? So there's that. I'm sorry, I can't do standards. I have to do legacy. Okay. No, that's probably one of the most important settings. Another one you're going to want to take note of when you're getting into raiding. Actually, this is just an important setting in general. I highly recommend always having this on. Is cutscene skipping. I enjoy the MMO classic hold left click and right click to move with mouse only. That's a thing in the Legacy too. I'm not pressing any buttons. That's a thing with Legacy too. I think it's a thing on both. Yeah, it's a thing on both. So you can do it either way. That's an important. That is definitely good to bring up though. The next really important setting that I just recommend everyone has enabled, whether you're raiding, whether you're just doing story, whatever you're doing, right? Sorry, water break. Is this cutscene skipping thing right here. Freeze up hand for hotbar things. Yeah, fair enough. Whatever you are comfortable with and whatever you can get used to, that is what you should play with. Those are the settings that you should play with. I will say for this cutscene skipping thing, this is nice. It automatically skips scenario dungeon cutscenes and trial cutscenes that you've already seen before. It will not skip it if you haven't seen it before. If it's your first time, it won't skip it. But if you've already seen that particular cutscene, it'll go ahead and skip it for you. And you won't have to, hit escape or circle or B, depending on your controller, and do the two-step process to skip it. It'll just go ahead and skip it. Which is really helpful for raiding, especially when you're jumping into the raid and it's nobody's first time, but there are people sitting there watching the cutscene. It just speeds it up for everyone. This is how a lot of people tell if someone is new or not in dungeons and whatnot, is if they're watching the cutscene, they're probably new. But that's cutscene skipping. Automatically facing the target when executing an action. I'm just going through here. Targeting. Yeah. Okay. This right here. Okay, now I actually do have to go outside. Because this is when I need to start showing stuff off. So, this is another setting that is really helpful. This one right here, automatically face target when using action. Under control settings, target, right here at the top. This is... This setting you should have on. No, I'm going to make an executive decision. This one you should have on. Because what it does is if you have it off, here's what it does. When I'm attacking, right, I can just, I'm just attacking, right? As soon as I turn around, though, I can no longer attack it. Because it's not in my line of sight. It's out of sight for me. With the thingy on, I automatically face the target when I do an attack. Meaning I can be positioning for mechanics, I can be doing whatever the hecky I want, I can be doing all this stuff, and I can still be hitting buttons as much to my heart's content, and I don't have to constantly be facing the boss. Heck, I could be all the way over here facing away and immediately just start casting. Like, that is one setting I will say you should have on. Another setting that might be nice, and I need to flip to a class that has a ground target ring. I feel a sneeze coming on, and it's pain. Let me do ninja. Oh yeah, my ninja doesn't have any glamours, but that's okay. So, another setting. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off temporarily. And so normally, by default, when you have these ground targeting rings, right? If you go too far, it'll show up as purple here. Hi, Fumo. If you go too far, it'll show up as purple. And that's not super helpful. So, something I do recommend, this limit ring movement to targeting range. And what that does is now the ring stops when it's at the edge of my range. So I can just bam, bam. Bam. Right. And I don't have to like find the edge of the range. I can just put my mouse at the top of the screen or just flick all the way up and it'll automatically go to the furthest it can go. So that is one setting I will recommend. All the rest of this is default. This is all default. Filters, this is all default. You can fiddle with this if you want. Battle effects. This is important. Lux, can I borrow you? Cool beans. Oh, there's an ad break. Okay, well, we'll wait for a second. Thank you. But we'll wait for like 30 seconds. But this is something you're gonna want to know about, especially for alliance raids. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Saribot, are we back? The ad break is finishing now. Sweet deal. Okay. All right. So, love a long ad. No, you're fine. Oh, did you actually get a long one? Oh shoot. Hold on. We'll wait. We'll wait like a minute or two. We'll wait for like a minute more, just to make sure everyone is back. It's over. Okay, cool. I'll wait probably like another 15 seconds just to make sure. Listen, the ads are at the minimum amount they can be at, but I can't reduce it to 0. So, all right. So battle effects settings. This is an option that's going to be extremely useful, especially for alliance raids. But if you have trouble seeing mechanics that are put onto the field, you can adjust these to make the field a little more readable. And essentially, you got 4 options. Well, you got 3, but let me hit show all really quick on others. No, there we go. Rex, you can keep doing your stuff. So normally, and Lux, if you want to beat up the dummy, you can go for it. normally when you're in like an alliance raid or something like that, you're gonna have a bunch of effects flying around, right? Which makes reading mechanics somewhat difficult. There's a lot of things flying around this one striking dummy. There's a lot of things going on. There's a ton of things. Right? This is almost impossible to read. Like, how in the heck are you supposed to tell that there might be like a gaze mechanic or separate? I can barely see my character half this time, right? So, this is what this battle effects setting is for. You've got your own battle effects, you've got your party members' battle effects, and then you've got others, which is, it's so much it's actually lagging the stream. Oh gosh, it is. Alright, well then hold on, I'm gonna adjust it right there. Alright, hold on, we're actually gonna do that really quick, just so the stream can catch up. Yo, stream, what's going on? Hello? Hello? Oh, I think my internet is having issues. I think that's actually what's going on. Not this crap again. Come on, internet. Rip stream. God, not this crap again. Alright, what if I go in the house? Hold on. Oh, wait, are we back? Are we back? I think stream just had like a major hiccup. I think we're back. Is my ping really bad? No. I think we're back. Are we back? Are we? Hold on. The particle effects were too strong. Anyway, that's about as good as a demonstration as I'm gonna get. But anyway, so for these battle effects, you've got your own battle effects, you've got party member battle effects, and you've got others, which includes people not in your party, but it also includes like alliance raid members, which are the other two parties in an alliance raid. Show limited only shows necessary stuff. So, like, if I put, my party members on show limited, just to show what that looks like. Lux, can you hit emboldened for me? Whenever it happens. Or is it on cooldown? I thought that would have an effect. Does show none show, like, no animations? Do some spells for me. I don't remember what show none does. You used it? Yeah, I saw you used it. Just do some casting. Because I put party member on none. Well, it does character animations. And it lights up the weapon. I go to show limited. Ah, okay. Show limited is stuff around her. You saw the little aura there. The aura that shows up when she's casting. Right? So it's much more character based. Yeah, it's all the little, like, flashy effects on her. Versus, I usually like to say show all on party members, at least, just because I'm used to the amount of chaos. But if Rex and Lewis started using attacks, I have other people set to show limited. So only their personal, like, stuff on themselves would show up. Like there's like a small aura on Meikyo Shisui for Lewis's samurai, or there's like small particle effects that'll show up on Dancer's standard step. But anyway, that's kind of how that works. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get a better a better view of how important it is to have your battle effects toned to a reasonable level. Okay, I am going to reset striking dummy enmity. Is there? Okay. Yeah. Lux, could you switch to a healer for me really quick? Because I want to show another option that's actually somewhat useful. And I believe it is under display name. No, is it under UI? Yeah, here we go. I need any class with a dot. Holy time. Yeah, it's already been an hour. Any class with a dot. Yep. Actually, Sage works pretty well. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and put our dots on there. And as you can see, there's like a little green number on my dot. And the Higanbana, that's not mine, and the Eucrasian Dosis, that's not mine, have white numbers on them. That's how you can tell what effect is yours and what isn't. But when we're talking about a whole 8-man party, or even an alliance raid, when there's a ton of effects on a boss all at once, it can be useful to use this effect right here, underneath UI settings, underneath HUD, display only detrimental effects you inflict on target. Which means now, even if Lux and Lewis apply dots to the boss or other stuff like that, I don't see them. They might see them, but I don't see them. All I see is the stuff that the spell Holy. Oh, Holy Time. Oh, you mean like on White Mage? Oh wait, but I can't switch during combat. Whatever. Anyway, I like to have all the effects. But that's just a personal thing. That's another useful setting that you might want to have access to. Let's see here. Oh, I'm actually gonna increase that slightly. There we go. Here under party list, under UI settings, you can, you should absolutely, like, this is just useful for reordering your party list if you would like, but, not super important. I think the next order of business is yes, okay. This is useful. You can recolor the names of party members and other, like, interactable, and targetable things in the world. So not only can you color your own name, right? I have my name set to the default color. Let me no. Reset enmity. Let me swap back to Paladin because I want to be on Paladin. Let me be on Paladin! Thank you. Okay. But you can also like edit the color of companion or pet names. You can edit the color of party member names, which are by default like a dark blue, so they typically blend in with the default color of other players in the world. By default, alliance members are green, friends are orange, like things like that. You can also edit like how, like for instance, I could abbreviate Lux's surname, I could abbreviate her forename, I could give just her initials, like it just depends on how much information you want displayed. All of yours are varying shades of pink. Of course they are. This is you we're talking about. Pink, punk, and pink. That's funny. What I really want to go over is under display name settings, under general. These are useful settings. So, right here is, I don't think this is on by default. But this allows you to see players' job icons next to their name out in the world without having to, like, examine them or something like that. I don't think this is on by default. It could be. I I don't remember because this was added after I started playing the game. But this is a really good setting to check. This one right here, it lets you see. It's what lets me see that Rex Miso over here is a dancer currently. It's what lets me see that Kira, aka Lux, is over here on Sage. It's what lets me see that Yuya, aka Lewis, is on Samurai. Right? It's not by default. Okay, then this is a very useful setting to know about. And you can turn it on and off based on where you are. Like if you're in a public area, you can turn it on for like other players. If you're in an instance, so like I guess field operations, so like freaking Eureka or something like that would be where this would apply. You can turn that off if you want. And then this is another useful thing, which I'm going to go ahead and enable. This auto colors people's names according to their role as well. So it will overwrite your colors over here, but that way you can tell at a glance who's on tank, who's on healer, who's on DPS, right? So yeah, she flipped to a healer and now her name is green. If she flipped to a tank, her name would be blue, exactly, right? But I like having the pink names. Now it's red, right? So I like having the pink names though, or the magenta or whatever color this is, because the role doesn't matter as much to me. I can generally tell at a glance who is who. But that's just a me thing. If you have trouble with that, this is a useful setting to know about. Hotbar setting. Oh, this is useful. Oh wait, where is... Oh, it's under log window. Okay, we'll get there. This is where you can turn on and off hotbars. And this is where you can customize how they look. So if you'll see over here, I have a hotbar over here that's vertical. And like, you know, if you've been playing the game at all, you know that that's kind of difficult to pull off. It's not really. You just do it over here. This is where you do it. You can also do it in your HUD layout, but we'll get to that in a minute. You can enable hotbars. You can yeah, there's hotbar 8. There's hotbar 9. There's hotbar 5. Or I guess 5 would be right like that. But anyway. But yeah. You can edit your hotbars here. You can, or edit how they're oriented like this. You can also edit what hotbars are shared between all your jobs. So like hotbar 10 over here, this is a global hotbar, right? And same with hotbar well, actually no, hotbar 4 isn't. I've actually specifically disabled that one from being shared. But if I were to switch to like Gunbreaker, this whole hotbar stays the same, but these 3 all change to all my Gunbreaker actions, right? And if I flip to Paladin, this is all my Paladin actions, and this is all the same. So, you can change the sharing there. Cross hotbars, I believe the controller hotbar. Yeah, this is the controller hotbar. Which, you know, I don't use because I'm not on controller. And these are custom hotbars. You can have expanded cross hotbars and things like that. You can delve deep into this. There is one more thing that I wanna do, which is this right here. So, when you are raiding, right? Usually, you're not gonna time your attacks like this. Game, why are we lagging? Hello? you're not going to time your attacks as they come off cooldown. Most likely you're going to be spamming it, right? Why is it not displaying it? Is it this? Yeah, there we go. Alright, do you see this not yet ready thing? It's making a sound at me. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is also constantly popping up. That's not helpful. That's not helpful in the slightest. I know it's not ready. I'm just spamming the buttons so that I execute it when it comes off cooldown. So, these two is what you want. Oh, recast timer is when you use a button that has a cooldown, and you try to use it again. Hold on. So, like, if I were to Imperator, and then I try to use it again... Oh, maybe not. Hold on. I don't know. Yeah, see, it says not yet ready. That's kind of annoying. So I have these turned off. There we go. Okay. That way it doesn't show up the error message when I'm just mashing the button, waiting for it to come off cooldown. And I can just resume on my daily life. And just spam to my heart's content. As much as I like. There we go. Anyway. I think... You can customize notification sounds, but anyway, I think that's everything in character config. HUD layout. Time for the scary. Not really. It's fine. You'll be fine. I promise. This is not as complicated as you might think it is. There we go. So let me just defocus that. There we go. So this is where you go to edit your HUD layout. Every one of these little white boxes are elements of your HUD. And you can overlap them to your heart's content. You can move them to your heart's content. You can arrange them however you like. And you can even save different HUD layouts. And I think... Yeah. But you can even save, like, HUDs. So, like, if you have a HUD for tanking, you can have a HUD for tanking. If you have a HUD for healing, you can have a HUD for healing. So on and so forth, right? Not only do you, like, if you find it difficult to just kind of like move your mouse around and just kind of hope for the best by clicking on things, you can also select each of the different HUD elements on here that are available for you, like that are available to edit, right? And if you select one, you can move it around to your heart's content. I'm not gonna move it. I don't want to touch mine. I don't want to touch a single piece because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to put it back. But you can move it around to your heart's content. You can hit, and then this is the other important thing to make a note of, is element settings, right? Which is usually you'll be able to adjust the size of the element. So like if I go to my target bar over here, and I go over here, I've actually not made it bigger, but I have made the focus target bigger. I made it slightly bigger, right? And then I can go over here. Oh, the target bar has a couple of more complicated settings because I can display target info independently. So if I want to display its HP somewhere, its cast bar somewhere else, and the status effects that are on it somewhere else, like I could do that, right? If I wanted to go over here to my progress bar, which is my cast bar and stuff like that, like I could go here. I could make that bigger if I really wanted to. I could disable my scenario guide, which is your current main quest. I could go over here and say, hey, I've already done all the main quests. I don't want to see that crap. You could change your enmity list and, change how big that is. Stuff like that, right? You can change where your statuses are. Like, all sorts of different stuff, right? That is how hotbars work. I highly suggest, or how your HUD works. I highly suggest finding a layout that works for you. As long as it works for you, that's the only important thing, right? As long as it makes sense to you. It doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. You're the one playing the game. And then last but not least, keybinds. There are some useful shortcuts you can assign in here, like focus targeting, which is this one right here, which I actually need to assign on Rena. But what focus target is, if I shift F, is now if I click off of Lux, she stays down there, and I can see any status effects that would be on her, or something like that, and I can just shift F, shift F, shift F. Yeah, and it puts a little arrow above her head too, so I can see where she is at all times. I think I might be able to shift target other people. Yeah, I can shift target people outside the party too. But anyway, that's one setting to know about if you want to. Toggle UI display mode is a shortcut, I think. Or is it system? It's system. Toggle UI display mode. This is the button that turns off and on your HUD. That's all this is. Where'd it go? Right here. So you can assign it to whatever you want. But if you didn't know how to do that, this is how you do that. And then last but not least, hotbars. So hotbar keybinds are pretty darn important, obviously. For the record, while we're talking about setting up a HUD and hotbar keybinds, every job is designed such that on PC you can you will need 3 hotbars at minimum to be able to put all your buttons onto your hotbar. And by default, the game only gives you access to 2. So you may want to enable your 3rd hotbar and put actions there. And from there you can play with controls as much as you want. Like you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have some MMO mouse buttons attached to my hotbar, and then I have like shift 1, shift 2, shift 3, shift 4, stuff like that, and then like control and also shift between hotbars. This is what makes sense to me. But ultimately, like I said before, it's what makes sense to you that matters. As long as you know what button executes what skill, that's the important part. Let's see. That was a lot of talking, so does anyone have any questions about potentially hotbars, keybinds, things of that nature? Any questions about, hey, what does this button do? Hey, what does this setting do? And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you are more than welcome to either send, like, ask in Discord, or, you know, comment on the video, and I will absolutely see it. I don't get comments on YouTube videos, so I will see it. But anywho, I'm not seeing any questions, so that's a good sign. I highly encourage you guys to explore, especially if you wanna learn high-end rating. I recommend explore to your heart's content. There are a ton of settings that you can tweak in this game to customize your experience. So you can absolutely customize it to your heart's content. It was... if you can think of it, there's a setting for it, pretty much. Almost. Not quite, but almost. But anyway, I will move on now. I know it's been an hour and a half. I don't want to talk at people and lose their attention. If you need to use the bathroom, you know, feel free. If you need to grab water, feel free. In the meantime, I will start delving into the next thing. And if you missed something, again, this will be up on YouTube, so you can always just go reference it later. You know what? I'm also going to put chapters on the YouTube video. I can do that. That's something I can very much do, so that people can jump around to, a section that they wanna see. But anyway, boy. I think what I will next cover is we're gonna start talking about mechanics and terminologies. Alright. So back when I made my notes originally, we didn't have all of the intermediate. Which I have not done on my main, which is kind of funny. But I don't need to, so. Lux, I'm gonna go ahead and disband the party, but I appreciate your assistance. So, when you are playing through the game, and you unlock the Hall of the Novice for the first time at level 15. Right? Which is dependent on your role. You'll see, there's tank training, healer training, and DPS training, right? And, you know, when you first unlock Hall of the Novice at level 15, I highly, 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 highly recommend doing it. Number one, not only because it gives you really good equipment, because this is a ring that boosts your XP gains when below level 30. And this... Or, wait. This is a chest piece for tanks, right? That is, like, equipable at level 15, and it's as good as the dungeon gear that's at the same level. So, not only is it for really good gear, but it does cover the general basics of playing the game and playing in a party. My goodness, I cannot stress it enough. Do your Hall of the Novice. I know it seems tedious. I know it seems like you're sitting there waiting for dialogue to progress the whole freaking time. But I promise you, it is covering the basics as best as it can in an outdated formula, maybe. But it is covering the basics of how to play in party content. When you reach level 49, I think it is. Which is... I think it's level 49. I think it's level 49. And you have reached a certain point in the main story. You will unlock a new section of Hall of the Novice called Tactical Training, which is right before Operation Archon, which, if you're there, you will know what that is. But it's right before Operation Archon kicks into gear, is when this unlocks. And it's right before the level 50 dungeons. I highly, 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 not only because there's another really good ring that stacks with your previous ring, and it gives you another 30% boost to EXP when level 60 and below. Not only because of that, because that's an awesome reward, but also because this, what we colloquially called Hall of the Intermediate in the Discord, teaches you about more advanced mechanics. And you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go do it. Because it's kind of just existing, and I can go do it, and I will be fine. Yeah. So I'm gonna just do it really quick, just to show you, right? Very, very, very. It's formulated the same way. You just read dialogue, and you react to mechanics as they come out. They'll explain to you how each mechanic works and what they look like and stuff like that. Thank you. And you're given a party because there are now party mechanics. So this first thing that he's going over, I'm just going to go over this. We're just going to do this. I'm going to just introduce terminology as we go over this. These are called separate markers by the community. And basically, yeah, he's explaining it, but how they work is it's an AoE based around you that follows you. So don't put your allies in the blast radius, so to speak. In the AoE, or area of effect. And he's going to take forever to explain how this works, but that's okay. Hello. Yep. These are separate markers. You spread out. That's the... Congratulations, we've solved the mechanic. Are you scared yet? Does this seem very complicated? Anyway. This is going to take a while, because these usually do, but that's okay. What's the next one? Oh no! So, I get the glowy thing, I go hug the healer. If you want to be funny, yes. Actually, no. This is what the community refers to as stack markers, or stacks. And yeah, he's explaining it, but basically the damage is shared between everybody that's in the stack marker. So if you see one of those, or you hear it going off, Mylon, you don't understand, you're playing tactics? Okay. I don't understand. I'm sorry. Anyway. If you can hear it, there's a sound effect cue. There's the wham, DM. Okay. Oh no, Bubble. Oh no. Yeah, but those are stack markers. Not complicated. In order to share the damage, you just walk together. You just go together. All right. Okay. Now we talk over tank busters. That is one variety of tank buster. There are a couple of different markers that each mechanic can use. They're all the same. Since I am a tank, this tank buster is going to target me. But if you are a tank, and you do have tank busters, here's a little tip. You have buttons that reduce the amount of damage that you take. You should use them. Like Rampart. Bang! I took a lot less damage because I pressed a button. And now my healer doesn't have to panic. Yeah. But anyway. Right before... Well, we'll cover tank swaps in a minute. We will cover that later. That's a little bit more advanced. Making the healers panic is funny, though. It is funny. I can agree. Is this, are we doing follows? Yeah, we're doing follows. Or, there's another specific name for them. I don't remember. I just call them follow markers or follows. So the way this works is it's going to place one AoE that's very slowly going to go out, like very slowly going to go off, and then a bunch of AoEs are going to be placed in rapid succession at me. So there's the slow one. And now a bunch are going to be placed in order, in rapid succession. And they're going to come straight for me. So even if I walked over here, it doesn't follow my walking path. Oh, darn. Okay. Well, if I had continued around, it wouldn't follow my walking path. It comes straight for me. So even if I did this little, like, loop-de-loop, like, during the first, when the first thing was spawning, even if I had done this loop-de-loop and then came to the middle, it comes straight towards the middle. It doesn't follow my walking path while the mechanic is going off. It doesn't. It's not that smart. It will come straight for you. So you do have to actually lead it. Oh, I gotta go talk to the guy. Okay, commence the final challenge. Yes. And that's all for level 1. So now we do it all in order. Or all at once, all in a row, whatever. After I'm done with these all the intermediate things, I will go actually show some of these in action, like in fights in action, so that you can see how they might look. Ah, okay, this is a good opportunity to explain what a donut is, and a point blank. So a donut is that first ring around the arena that was placed where the safe area was inside, and then a point blank is something usually based around a boss or an enemy, but it's an AoE that's centered on it. I think, did Cat just arrive? We may need to take a 5-minute break after this. I think Cat might have just arrived, but I will go see in just a moment. Sentinel, Sheltron. Haha, look at how much damage I didn't take. Follow markers. We're all circling. That's so funny. Alright. Are you scared of high-end content yet? I promise, it's not hard. It's just that, but faster. It's just that, but faster. Alright. I am going to go hit my be right back screen. I am going to go check on Kitty Cat, and we're going to make sure the Kitty Cat is okay and all settled in and stuff. And I will give me like 5 to 10 minutes. You are welcome to go take a bathroom break. I will be right back. I wonder if I can, well, regardless. I'll be right back. See you guys in about 5 minutes or so. Okay. Ah. Hello. I am back. I am McHeckin back. I apologize for that. That was... I think that was 5 minutes, right? Oh, there's another ad break. We're gonna snooze it. I don't care. Alright. I am back. We are back, I hope. I have a lot of drop frames, but we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, so this is good. I'm gonna go jump back into Hall of the Intermediate, just to continue explaining these as they are being shown off, because this is a very good tool. The cat is all... He is getting used to his space. We have set him up with his own space. We will probably introduce the 2 kitties later. Welcome back, thank you. Alright, back to teaching, though. Back to explaining terminology things. Come here. Oh, okay. This is a death wall. If you see a wall like this is a death wall, where there's like a giant elemental whatever. Usually it's a death wall. Not always, but usually. These are knockbacks. These are knockbacks. They knock you back. And if you get knocked back into the death wall, you die. Or you get a really spicy dot put on you, but usually you die. 2 things about knockbacks. Number 1, when they go off, they will knock you back. You know, surprise, surprise. But something useful to know, and we're gonna go ahead and do it right now. Arm's length and simultaneously surecast, if you're a caster, will ignore knockback. It makes you invulnerable to it. But it has a 2-minute cooldown, so be aware of that. But it's arm's length for tanks or melee DPS or ranged DPS, and then surecast for healers and casters. They do the same thing. It's just different names for the same move. What's next? Or common variant? Oh, this is just a knockback but spicy. This is just a knockback but spicy. Yeah. Yeah. See, it may look different. It's still the same thing. The blue is a death zone, so you stand on the very edge of it. This time I don't have arm's length, so I'm actually going to do the mechanic. I need to sneeze! I can't sneeze. I am in pain. Okay. Very simple. You stand on the very edge of it. Whoop-de-doo. Anyway. That doesn't really have another name. That's really just another, knockback. It's just knockback but spicy. Proxies! Or, well, proximities. Or proxies, but they're proximity attacks. Hydrate, thank you. I was actually about to drink, so. Yeah, he's explaining it, but basically the closer you are to that pulsating beacon of doom, the more likely you are to die. So don't. Yeah, run as far as you can away from it. That's how these work. These are proximity markers, or proximities, or proxies. Depending on how I'm feeling in the moment. Hello. You can also mitigate proximities. Because it is incoming damage. You see how little health I took versus the thaumaturge over here? Now, I am a tank, but still. What's next? I forget. Ah, towers. Okay, this is an interesting. Towers, are gonna be little fields like this that show up all over the field. Yeah, if no one stands inside, the entire party gets hit. So one person, or at least one person, but one person has to go in and, quote, soak the tower. So, you will often see, like, 3, 2, 1, like here, multiple towers, where multiple people have to take each tower, right? Or so there's multiple towers, so each person has to take a tower, yada yada yada, right? If anyone misses their tower, the whole party gets hit for spicy damage. So that's how towers work. What else is there? They're gonna cover a variant of towers, which are literally the same thing. Yeah. It just looks different, but it's the same thing. I promise it's not scary. Hee hee, it looks different. Okay. I doubt we'll get to... There will be some more complex mechanics that I'll need to actually go hunt down, but... There's another ad break! I did snooze it, but it's fine. Hopefully... Hello. It glows when I stand in it. Oh boy. How complicated. Oh no. What fear? Anyway. Oh, final challenge. Okay, cool. We got a minute before ad. We can do this. You guys don't need to see, no, commence final challenge. Thank you. Now we just do all that, but fast. We just do all that, but fast. Not hard. The ad already starts in 30 seconds. We're gonna freaking be in the middle of the freaking exercise. And it's gonna have an ad break, but it's okay. Knockback! Notice how there are AoEs on the ground? And get knocked back, not into the AoEs. Simple. Everybody soak a tower, but we gotta get knocked back into them first. Hiya! And I think I go here? No, I go here. Simple. Oh no, proximities. Are we done? No, towers. We gotta do towers. AoEs and towers. It's not that complicated. You just need to be standing in the ring. Woohoo. Anyway. Can you tell this is not stimulating? But anyway. Alright. Last but not least, we will do the final Hall of the Intermediate. A 30-second ad break, it's fine. It's gonna take 30 seconds for him to yap. Even more advanced tactical maneuvers. What are we gonna cover? Exaflares? Probably not. Three, 2, 1. The ad break is already done. Right, Saribot? Thank you, Saribot. You're very helpful. Okay. The procs tether. Oh, tethers! Tethers... Okay. Tethers are weird. Because there are two types of tethers. There's technically tethers, like these, like proximity tethers. Where... Basically, you have these, like, this pink arrow, right? And what you have to do is you have to run away until the pink arrow turns into a purple line. And it'll be really obvious. But once it's a purple line, you're safe. In 1 second, you will see what I'm talking about. Wee bonk. It's a purple line now. There's another version of that called chains, where you might be chained to another player. And in order to break those chains, you guys have to separate as far as you can. Asterisk, the only exception to that is Ifrit Extreme, but anyway. This is not really a tether. This is not a tether. This is a targeted attack. We do not reference these as tethers in the 14 community. These are not tethers. These are targeted attacks that you can intercept. You intercept the targeted attack. In order to do it, it's not that hard. You just stand in front of it. Ifrit likes being different. He does. He's special like that. So I just stand in front. That is all I do. Woohoo. I did the mechanic. What's next? Oh, this is a gaze. This is a gaze. You see the little eye? Yeah. If you see this eye, that means you physically, your character, has to be looking away. Not your camera. Your camera can be facing the enemy. But your character needs to be facing away from the enemy. That is how you resolve gaze attacks. They are pretty darn common. You will see them all the time. And this is the advantage of legacy movement. I can just tap S, and boom, mechanic solved. Now, keep in mind, if you have the one setting where you automatically face the target when using an action, you should not be attacking while you're facing away for a gaze mechanic. You do have to stop attacking, because otherwise you're gonna attack and then face the enemy again, and that's a problem. Let us discuss... Oh, Esuna. We're going to discuss Esuna. I wish every healer would pay attention here. Sadly, I know they're not going to. Okay. You see this little blue bar above the status effect? This is what signifies an effect that can be removed by Esuna. That little blue bar. You will see a whole bunch of stuff... you will see a whole bunch of status effects in the game that don't have that little blue bar or blue-white bar or whatever color it is. I'm partially colorblind. Don't blame me. Like that amnesia right there doesn't have the blue bar, but the bind does. So when I get Esuna'd, I can move out, but I still can't use abilities. See? She can't Esuna off the amnesia, but she can Esuna off the bind. That's the difference. You look for the little blue bar, those are the effects you can Esuna. If it doesn't have the blue bar, you can't Esuna off the status effect. And now we do it all, but faster. Okay, so there's actually a couple of mechanics that we haven't covered. So I will We will cover them in a moment. All right. Haha. Mother hacker. There we go. Easy enough. It is not complicated. Bitter chill. Oh no, a point blank. Oh no, a donut followed by a gaze. We're going to walk forward and then turn around. Easy. Are we done? No, one more. Oh. Wee. Easy enough. And there we go. Easy enough. And I got a neophyte's ring. That I'm never gonna... Oh, Hilux. That I'm never gonna use. Okay. I do want to go over a couple of other mechanics, though, that you will see pretty commonly. Let's go over... We went over gazes, we did proxies, we did knockbacks. Meteors! Okay. I'm gonna go enable unrestricted party, go into trials, go into this trial. Spoiler warning for post ARR, for patch ARR MSQ. You've been warned. And for future content, but anyway. Alright, come here, Nabrialis. I need to explain something to the people. Ah, here. Okay. This might take a second. Because I gotta actually like do the fight, unfortunately. I wonder what would happen if I just like let him charge up the full. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'll just mitigate. I don't care. Or not. He's just gonna take an eternity to cast. Okay. Sure, Chief. Oh no, 5,000 damage. Okay, I'm not worried. Are you gonna do it? No. Okay. Hold on. We gotta get to a certain point in the fight. We're gonna cover what are called meteors, which are different from towers. Meteors are attacks where it'll spawn a giant meteor that is coming crashing down, and the origin point of the meteor, like the base or whatever, needs to be destroyed before it comes crashing down. That's how they work. Oh! Thank you for the follow, beauty. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Hello, can you do your thing now? Okay. Easy enough, right? Yes, okay. Haha! So, these are what are called meteor attacks. In a second. He's gonna spawn a tower. Spawn a tower. I'm gonna go ahead and soak the tower. Oh, it's over there. So this is the Ethereal Tear. This is the DPS check. Meteors are DPS checks. So I'm just gonna bam. Easy. That is... Meteors are not complicated. They are just DPS checks. That's all they are. Alright, get over here, you nerd. Perish. Okay. What else did we not cover? We didn't cover separate. We covered separates. We covered stacks. We did cover a tank buster, but I want to show you a different marker for it, which is Sunken Temple of Karn. Let me be free. Alright. We're just gonna run to the first boss. That is all I'm doing. I have no other objective. Bada 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 bada. Bada 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 bada. So if you remember the giant, like, spinning squares around me when it was first showing the tank buster, usually those tank busters with the two spinning squares have what are called cleaves. And cleave is a term that references, basically all it means is, a giant attack is coming out, and if you're standing behind the tank that's getting hit by the attack, you will take a lot of damage. But, okay, I'm not gonna damage him a lot. I need you to, okay. This is a symbol for another tank buster. Usually these don't have cleaves. They just are a lot of damage. Perish. That's all I wanted to show you here. The one with the spinning squares from the Hall of the Novice thing, those usually indicate if somebody's standing behind you, they will get hurt. Though the one with the circles, usually those tank busters are... You will be okay if you're standing next to the tank. I still don't recommend it, but you probably will be okay. Let me go to a trial with a visual cleave so you can see what I'm talking about. So, if I come over here to Shiva... Come here, Shiva. Hello. Put on your sword. Put on your sword stance. Put on your sword stance. Do it. I won't kill you, but do it. Put on the sword stance, lady. Is this it? That's a damage up. Lady. Lady, put the sword stance on. Aha! Sword stance. So now, when she attacks me, do you see the giant icicles that come out? Okay, it's not every attack, but it's like most attacks. Thank you, lady. Okay, I thought it was most attacks. Okay, she's gonna stun me now. Thank you. Did you see the icicles that came out over here? That's another cleave. If she does Ice Brand again. Hopefully. Do it again. Do it again. Do Ice Brand. Not Heavenly Strike. Ice Brand. Not your auto. Ice Brand. Not your auto. Ice Brand. That's your stun. Don't do... Okay, watch the edge here. You see the shards of ice? That means if you're standing behind the tank, you will get hit, and you will also get stunned. So, that is how cleaves work. I'm tired of your bullcrap. Perish. Anyway. Ba 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 boy. Ba 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 boy. Hi, Lux. Oh, I want to go show off. So I briefly talked about donuts and point blanks during the training, but I do want to go show off those really quick and what they actually look like in combat. So I'm gonna go challenge a Chimera. And come here, idiot. All right. So he's gonna use either. There's Dragon's Voice. So Dragon's Voice is a donut. So, do you see the purple effect? How it was only the inside that was clear? That is what it's referred to as a donut or a dynamo. That's a tank buster with a cleave. Because if you're the Dragon's Voice again. Okay, now I'm gonna stand away from him. I'm gonna get hit. See, now I have paralysis. Oh no, whatever shall I do? Right. All right, use Ram's Voice, so you use your Ram's Voice. That's Ram's Breath. Use Ram's Voice. Ram's Voice. Ram's Voice. That's Dragon's Voice. No. Ram's Voice. Ram's Voice. Do it, coward. Not the tank buster. Ram's Voice. Do it, you stupid coward. Hit me. There it is. So now this is a point blank. It's going to be centered on him. You see how it's centered on him? Easy, right? Piece of cake. Perish. So when I talk about point blanks and donuts, those are the two types of attacks I'm talking about. We saw follow markers. Hi, Lux, thank you. We saw towers. Oh, we haven't covered Akmorns. I'm gonna go do that really quick. Where's Keeper of the Lake? Keeper of the Lake, Keeper of the Lake, Keeper of the Lake, Keeper of the Lake. I told you I had notes. I told you I came prepared. I came prepared with notes. Okay. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, this is going to take a minute. Because this is the earliest example of an Akmorn in the game. And it's the final boss. So you're going to have to be patient with me. Alright, come here everyone. We're going on a trip. We're going on a trip. We're going on a trip. We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship. Flying through the sky. Oh, anyway. I probably shouldn't sing that, otherwise I get DMCA'd. That's probably... You have a question for end once mechanic are done? Okay. No worries. I should have brought Ninja. That would have been a better idea. I should have brought Ninja. Oh well. Hey, idiot! Get deathed. There we go. While we're waiting. Yeah, go for it. Ask your question. What's up? Go for it. I am just trying to clear all the way to the end boss, so I am... You are not dead? Inconceivable. I gotta do mechanics, unfortunately. Alright, we're just gonna hit this really quick. Alright, you come with me. We're gonna hit this really quick. Alright, everyone get over here. Come join the party. Everyone, come join the party. Everyone, come join the party. It's giant free-for-all. For any new peeps watching, if they do decide they want to try raiding, what can they do? They can come join the Discord. Which I hold raids 3 times a week, all on the weekends. It's a little hard to put together your own static. Yeah, that's true. But you can join the Discord. I have a Discord command right here. You can join the Discord, and that is a perfectly reasonable place to get started. I hold raids every weekend, and you can either jump in and join us, or we hold voting weekends the last weekend of every month. So in case someone wants to go back and try an older fight that we've already done and we're past, we can do that if people want to. Bobingus. There we go. You can also, if you want, the other way you can try out raiding is if you come over here to party. Well, okay, you would be able to if I wasn't in a dungeon, but you can click on Party Finder right here, and you can search for people putting together parties or recruit your own party. And you can use the Party Finder to find a group. Either way works. You are more than welcome to come join the Discord, though. I welcome everyone from any walk of life. I do not care. I really don't. I do not care what your experience level is. I am willing to teach you if you are willing to learn. So that's the best way to get started. And then from there, I highly recommend, if you can find Neon Together, Steel Forever, exactly. If you can find groups outside of the Discord that are willing to run lower level content, like, so not the current end game content, but like, you know, end game, a high end content from prior expansions synced down. If you can find people who are willing to run that stuff, treasure those people, because number one, they're freaking masochists, and number two, earlier high-end content, not the current tiers, is far easier to learn, because that was like you have the advantage of potency creep, you have the advantage of everyone having max item level, you have the advantage, like, it becomes a lot easier to learn the trials and stuff, and learn how to actually do high-end content. But if you want to just jump in and get your feet wet in the current Savage tier, go for it, Chief. Go for it. Alright, now I'm not going to insta-kill this boss because I'm looking for a specific mechanic. I am going to do a little bit of damage, though. Okay, he's below 50%, so he should activate ad phase in a second. Oh no, a point blank. Oh, this also has line attacks. Hold on. I think he has line attacks in here. Says the one silencing the echo. Teehee. Okay, so do you see how there are like weird little things on the sides of the arena and they have an arrow? That means they're going to send a giant AoE in that direction across the arena. These are referenced as line attacks. And he's also sending a line attack. Boom. There you go. See? You see how they conjured AoEs? The signal is their appearance. If you are standing in the orange, by the time it appears, it is almost too late to dodge the mechanic. So, another thing to be aware of, or another thing to take note of, is... Oh, okay. I see them. I see the safe spot. Be looking around the arena. You know, it's not always going to be orange juice on the ground that you just don't stand in. Although a lot of the time it is, but it's not always going to be just don't stand in the orange juice. Okay, you die, and you die. Easy. Well, I guess I could have shown an enrage, but it's fine. There's an easier enrage I can show. Okay, do your Akmorn. Hello, Akmorn. Do you see how this is 3 stack markers on top of each other? That means he's going to hit us with a stack marker, and then hit us again, and hit us again, and hit us again. And the length of what are called Akmorns, and it's called that because the first one that appeared was it was a move called Akmorn, just like the one he just used. So the way you resolve an Akmorn is stack together just like a normal stack marker, and then mitigate and heal as necessary. Oh hey, look, a tank buster. I'm gonna mitigate. I took less than 2,000 damage. Hell yeah. Akmorns are not that bad though. They're really not. Just shield and heal. Anyway, perish. Okay. And yes, that's the first instance of an Akmorn in the game. It's freaking long. It used to be the first instance of an Akmorn was Heaven's Ward, so I'm really glad that that got changed. We already covered line attacks. We have not covered Exaflares. I would like to cover Exaflares, which is a bit of a complicated mechanic, but that's okay. Stormblood spoilers. If you care about that, pause. Pull up something else. I don't know. This is Stormblood Dungeon. I'm only going to the first boss. I'm not going to the second boss, or the third boss, or the final boss, or whatever. So, I don't think there will be any story spoilers, necessarily, but dungeon spoilers, for sure. Oh, and I'm not going to one-shot everything in here. That's a shame. Yeah, because I jumped to expansions, so you know. There we go. I'm just going to the first boss. So Exaflares, what those are it's kind of a more complex line attack. So if you remember the ads that were putting down line attacks a second ago, Exaflares are a more complicated variant of that. But I promise you they're still not hard. Come here, everybody. Come get in the pile. I'm on freaking tank, so I don't do a lot of damage, but that's okay. There we go. Anyway. Alright, first boss time. So, what we're looking for is we're looking for red arrows. He's going to turn, and he's going to point at a direction, probably towards me, because I'm the only player here. And then, like, 2 giant red arrows pointing towards me are going to appear on the ground. Those are Exaflares, and what they mean is that he's going to place an AoE starting there, and then that AoE will essentially, quote, travel in that direction. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. You'll also see them on the sides. And let me just do some damage really quick, just so he actually gets into his mechanics. Okay, that's his tank buster. Aha! See? See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes, and goes, and goes. That's how Exaflares work. That's how they work. Is they just travel like that. These are line attacks, more line attacks. Are there symbols for the things flying across? Hey, idiot! Spawn your dudes that fly! Yeah, okay. It's just don't be in the way. Yeah, so see, another Exaflare, right? These are just Exaflares. This is the first instance of them. A lot of the time, they don't actually originate from the boss. A lot of the time, you'll have Exaflares originating from the side of an arena and traveling across the arena while the boss is doing other stuff. So, anyway. Perish, sir. Goodbye. Okay, I'm done. Leave. The last mechanic I would really like to cover, like general mechanic that you'll see a lot of, especially in high-end content, as you do high-end content, is what is known as an enrage. And it's basically when the boss gets too mad because you've overstayed your welcome. Usually. And this is the earliest available enrage and also the easiest one to activate. So I'm just gonna I'm going to damage him a little bit. So usually, in high-end content, if you... Okay, hold on, I gotta slow down. We're just gonna shield lob. Okay. If you see a really slow cast like this, that is a good indication that that is an enrage. The Ultima trial, the new one, also has this. The Porta Decumana trial, but I don't feel like sitting through the giant cutscene, so we're doing Odin. If you let him finish this cast, it does not matter how much HP you have. I have almost 1,000,000 HP. And yet, Zentetsuken. Doesn't matter. Even if I did have 1,000,000 HP, I'm pretty sure it would still kill me. It would still kill me. Enrages happen usually one of two ways. Number one, you took too long in the fight. That animation was cool. It is a cool animation. Yeah. Either you took too long in a fight, or you triggered it by doing a mechanic, and now you have to race against the clock. Now, Odin does his enrage at like 15% HP or something, so beating the DPS check is not that hard. But a lot of the time in high-end content, you'll find enrages just trigger at like the 10-minute mark. If you spent 10 minutes in the fight and you still haven't killed him, he will enrage and kill you all. So that is where damage comes in. And that is why knowing your damage rotation and knowing your job, more importantly, is like, it's way more important to know your job and to continue doing damage even while resolving mechanics. I know that they're complicated. I know that you might not be able to use your melee attacks against an enemy that's 5,000 feet and on the other side of the freaking arena. If you have to press your do 1 damage at range button over and over and over again because you're forced to do mechanics, I want you pressing your do 1 damage at range button. Whether it's freaking shield lob for paladin, or tomahawk for warrior, or NP for samurai, or everyone has one. Everyone has a ranged attack that they can hit in the neutral while they're disengaged and doing other stuff. Except for Monk, because Monk just has to sit there and cry. But that's Monk things, okay? But everyone has a ranged attack. So you should always be doing damage. And what that basically amounts to is your ABCs, okay? Always be casting. If you see right here, the little recast timer on the weapon skill here, it says 2.40 seconds. You should always have this recast going. What that's called is it's called a global cooldown, or a GCD for short. And what that means is when I hit it, everything else goes on cooldown. I hit another one, everything else goes on that same cooldown. I hit another one, everything else goes on that same cooldown. You should always have that sucker running. And, more importantly, this is where the mashing comes in. If you press it right before the timer is up, it queues up the action. So you'll notice I'm pressing it slightly before it comes off cooldown, and it goes ahead and does the action. So I'm going to hit mouse 5, and I'm going to hit mouse 5, and I'm going to hit mouse 5, and it queues up the action. So you should never be not doing anything. You should always be doing something. Even if you make a mistake, even if you press the wrong button, even if I said, oh, I have an instant cast Holy Spirit. Oops, I hit Shield Lob. I don't care. You can hit Shield Lob twice. I don't care. Like, then I hit Holy Spirit. Okay. Maybe, oh, oops, I hit Total Eclipse inside my single target combo. Oh, well, I don't care. Always be casting. Practicing your rotation comes later. Hitting the correct buttons comes later. But always be hitting something, dang it. Because if you aren't doing your damage. And if you aren't doing your damage, your group runs the risk of failing the enrage. That's why that's important. Let's see. Does anyone, before we really get into like how rotations work, and how to set them up, and what the different types of buttons on your hotbar are, does anyone have any questions about mechanics specifically? So, you know, if you have a question about a marker, or you know, if you have a what if scenario, throw it at me. I don't care. So about jump. We will get there. We will get to how to actually use your abilities and buttons. But we are getting there. We're gonna start on a healer for this next step, because a healer is probably the simplest. Posture check? Oh, thank you. Alright, I'm not seeing any questions. Oh, my back. Ow. Oh, did you guys hear that? I sure hope the mic picked that up. Actually, I'm gonna play Scholar. We're gonna do Scholar. Actually, we're gonna do White Mage. I changed my mind. Anyway. There are... Positionals aren't always able to be hit. Is it okay to miss them? Yes, absolutely. If you can... So when he's referencing a positional, he's talking about a move like this. So if you look at Demolish here, it says, oh, it delivers an attack with a potency of 320, but the potency is increased to 380 when executed from a target's rear. Or like this, Snap Punch, which is 270, or 330 when executed from a target's flank. These are referenced as positionals. They deal more damage when executed on the correct position on the enemy. You should try to aim for those, but it is not always viable to hit them. It is more important to go ahead and press the button than it is to wait and hit the positional. So like if I come over here and I say, oh, I'm Dragon Kick, Twin Snakes, I'm hanging out on the back of the boss, and then, oh no, he uses an attack that cleaves the right side and the left side of the boss, and I'm coming up on my flank positional. Oh well, I need to go ahead and hit it, then, rather than just sitting there waiting. It's more important to go ahead and do the damage than to just sit there waiting. You didn't need to hear it? Good, good. Anyway. Now. There are 3 types of skills in this game. There are 3 types of buttons. Only 3, I promise. And 2 of them are the same thing. And True North lasts for a singular attack. It's a duration. Nope, it is a duration. So if I come over here to Dragoon, and I build up my combo into Disembowel, Chaotic Spring, Wheeling Thrust, and Fang and Claw all have positionals. Now, Fang and Claw, when I execute it, is going to be a different move, and it won't have a positional. But if it did, if I was at a level where it would, this would still apply. I could hit True North, and then Chaotic Spring, Wheeling Thrust, and Fang and Claw would all ignore their positional requirements, and I would count as having hit that positional. That's why True North is very important. Is because it's a 10-second duration. Now, a lot of classes, Dragoon is kind of the only one that, like, can make use of multiple positionals inside of True North, because most of the rest of them don't really execute more than, like, 1 in a row. Dragoon is kind of one of the only melees nowadays. That was not true a long time ago, but nowadays, Dragoon is the only melee DPS that executes multiple positionals in a row. Unless you're doing some special Reaper things, but that's Reaper. Like Reaper, you can, where's Reaper? Reaper, you can hit Gibbet and Gallows multiple times in a row if you have, like, the gauge for it, and those are your positionals. So, technically you could, but, yeah. You don't have to. But Dragoon is the only one that will actually make you hit multiple positionals in a row. So yeah. True North is a duration. But if you can't hit the positional, don't worry about it. You're going to miss out on some damage. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and press the button. If you're really struggling for damage so much that you fail in Enrage, I promise there's other stuff you can work on before worrying about hitting positionals on one attack. Samurai has multiple as well. Every melee DPS has at least 2 positionals. Every single one. Yeah. Some of them have 3. Dragoon has 3. Chaotic Spring, Wheeling Thrust, and Fang and Claw. Monk has 2. Demolish and Snap Punch. Ninja has 2, which is Aeolian Edge and Armor Crush. Samurai has 2, which is Kasha and Gecko. Reaper has 2, which is Gibbet and Gallows. And then, Viper has 2, which are the final third steps of your main 1, 2, 3, which is freaking yeah, so the red ones are rear and the green ones are flank. That's how I remember it. Technically, I guess Viper has 4 positionals, because all 4 of these attacks are the same, but they only ever appear on these 2 buttons, so it's really only 2 positionals. And Viper is really just press the glowing button. But yeah. Those are the only times, and then Viper, you only press the 1 positional, and then you reset your combo, so you don't ever press multiple in a row. Oh, wait, no, Viper does have a couple of others. So Viper might actually have the most, because Hunter's Coil is a flank, and Swiftkin's Coil is a rear. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, technically. Technically 6, but you pretty much have 4 individual buttons. Which is kind of terrifying to think about, because Viper's the simplest melee job in the game. I'm not even joking about that. But the fact that it has the most amount of positionals is kind of a point in its favor. But anyway. Good question. Good question about True North. That's a very good question. It is getting to be 3 hours. It is 10 o'clock. I'm debating really getting into the nitty-gritty of damage, or if I should wait. Part 2 for the algorithm. I will probably end up doing a part 2 just because there's a lot to this. But there's a couple more things I would like to cover. Lux, could I get your help again? I would appreciate it. Okay. I think you know what I'm doing. Load. No, not that one. Where is it? It's one of these, men. Here we go. Alright. So, we're going to cover weakness and what that does. So, can I get a res? Thank you. Okay. So, in a dungeon or a trial or whatever, when you raise, when you're resurrected by like your healer or a summoner or something similar, right? You get this little debuff called weakness. And what that does is it reduces all of your damage by 25%. All damage you deal is reduced by a quarter. So don't die, because now you are doing significantly less damage. This is the other part about when I was talking about like missing a positional earlier. If you're failing in rage, it is more likely that you have people dying and being stream lag is a thing. You're fine. It is more likely that you have people dying and are doing their damage with this thing active. If you die again in the 2 minutes or 3 minutes that this thing is up, that this debuff is active on you, it turns into, I think, like, close to death or something like that. I forget the name of the debuff. But it gets boosted to a 50% reduction in all damage. And healing, because it also affects mind. So, yeah. Damage and healing is affected. So if you have... So, when it comes to failing in Enrage, if you have people that are working and operating and dealing their damage underneath this effect, you fix this first. You don't worry about your one positional. You don't worry about having to disengage. You don't worry about any of that. You fix that first. You fix people dying first. That's why it is so much more incredibly important to not die. I would rather you do unoptimal damage and not die and perform mechanics correctly than do your rotation but greed too much and die for it. Because if you're dead and on the floor, you do 0 damage. And not only do you do 0 damage while you're sitting on the floor taking a nap, but when you're raised, you do 25 or 50% less damage for the next 2 to 3 minutes. It's like... It's rough. It's rough, man. So the most important thing you can do to help your group clear is not die. That's why it takes paying attention, and if you do make a mistake, be willing to learn from it. That's why the open mindset comes into play, is because if you learn from your mistakes, you are actively working to help clear the fight. Because you will do the damage. I promise you, you will do the damage. Enrages, until you get to, like, current content, enrages are not hard to meet. You will do the damage. I promise you, you will do the damage. But if you die, now you may not. You know? That makes sense? And something else. I don't have a fight save for this, but I gotta think. Hold on. Thank you for the heals. I appreciate the effort. I'm trying to think of a fight where if you get hit, it applies a vuln stack. I know a fight that does that. I'm trying to think of an earlier fight that does that, so that I don't spoil something. Level 90 red mage heals are not much for a level 100 tank. Yeah, especially a level 100 tank in, like, current armor. With materia melded and crap, so. I appreciate the help, Lux. Thank you very much for your assistance in showing off, weakness. Thank you. You should have vuln stacks, I think. I don't... None of the ARR trials do, which is unfortunate. But, basically, vuln stacks, or vulnerability stacks, are, stacks of debuffs. Hello, Cleve. Alright. Alright, do something. Do something, Chief. Do something. Wait a minute, I just realized his tank busters don't have cast bars. Okay, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. Alright, so do you see these stack markers that I am accumulating very quickly? That's kind of concerning. I might die. Oh no, I'm fine. Aha! Okay, so I have now accumulated 5 vulnerability up stacks. That means I am now taking like... It's not like 5x damage or like 6x damage, but the more of these I collect, the harder I'm gonna get hit. Like, that just hit me for 27,000 damage. That just hit me for 12,000. By all rights, I should be dead, right? The only reason I'm not is because I have, like, an ungodly amount of HP. The maximum number of stacks you can accumulate is kind of absurd. It's 8. And at 8 stacks, you'll pretty much die to anything. But... okay, we're gonna go jump off the ledge, because I don't want to... You don't have ledges this late in the... What are you doing? Oh. Alright, fine. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. I had to actually do the fight, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, but you know. This is a fun fight, so I don't care. Summoner is unlocked. Congratulations! Alright. You guys get a minor Heaven's Ward spoiler for optional trials, but that's okay. Turn up your BGM. That did 11,000 damage because of all my stacks. I should be dead. I should be dead 6 ways from Sunday. Alright. And... damage down! Oh wait, hold on. I should actually cover damage down. There are other mechanics that, if you get hit, instead of applying a vulnerability stack, it applies, okay. It applies damage down. That's all. And it's like having a weakness. That's really common, especially in later and later and later and later you get. It gets harder and harder to kill players because of how powerful tanks and healers get. So instead of applying vulnerability stacks, mechanics start applying damage downs, and then you start risking being able to clear Enrage. But anyway. Yeah, that's vulnerability stacks, or vuln stacks, or vuln-ups, or whatever. That's weakness. Those are a bunch of mechanics we talked about. The music was lit. Yeah, exactly. There's some good music in this game. If I hadn't talked about it, aggro is also referenced as enmity in the game, but it's just the targeting priority of an enemy. Oh, hold on. Lux, I would like to borrow you again. If you are here. And, Lewis, can I borrow you? Do you mind if I borrow you? Because I need to show something. Enmity management? Yeah. You can stay on Samurai, but... Because I'm going to show something. So, I'm going to snooze this ad really quick, because this is kind of important, and it's going to take a minute to explain. So... You're going to see, when I attack this striking dummy, you're going to see it appear over here on the left side of the screen in my enmity list. If I open up my HUD layout, my enmity list is over here, right? You're going to see it appear right here. There's going to be a symbol next to its name that looks like a red circle. That red circle means I am the main target of aggro. You will also see on top of my little job icon here, a little A. Okay, and a red bar next to that A. That will mean that will also mean I am the main target of aggro. So if I hit him once, there's the red dot, there's the A, right? This means that I am the main target of aggro. Let me hit him again, just to ensure that I have aggro. Actually, wait, let me stance, and there we go. Okay, now I do have aggro. So if you two want to hit him, or if you two want to hit the dummy, so we can put multiple people on the list here. So as you guys see, Lux now has a 2, and Lewis now has a 3. This means Lux is second in aggro, and Lewis is third in aggro, and so on and so forth down the party list. This is how you tell who is where in the aggro order. In an alliance raid, this may not say A, because another alliance's tank may have the boss, but it should still say 1 if you are the tank in an alliance raid. It is... The tanks in any content, the tanks should always be first and second on the aggro list. Even if you're at risk of, like, if you're Lux right now, say, and someone else is main tanking, which means they are the main target of aggro. If you are, quote, the off tank, which means you are the second target of in aggro. You see how this bar is building as she does damage? This means that she's building aggro on me. Once this bar fills, that means that she will have overtaken my aggro, well, built enough to be equivalent, and then any more aggro she builds will overtake me, and she'll become the main target of aggro. So in a second, there it goes. And now she's the main target of aggro. So now she has the A and I have the 2. And as she does more damage and I haven't generated any aggro because I haven't done any damage, my bar is falling down here. If I hit one button, I catch up a little bit again. But as I just auto attack, it jumps up and it falls as she does more, right? That's how you tell aggro. The tanks should always be in the first and second aggro spots. I'm going to say it again. Your tanks should always be first and second in the aggro list. Because there are a lot of mechanics that target specifically the second target in the aggro list. Or the first target in the aggro list. And if those aren't tanks, those are mechanics intended for tanks going to DPS. And that's kind of a problem. Because those mechanics typically do a lot of damage. Or are a tank buster of some sort. Or something like that. But in order to generate aggro on a tank, all you really got to do is just turn on your tank stance. And do damage. That's all you got to do. If you notice, so if I was doing my thing right here, right? And I was like, la-da-dee-dee-da. La-da-dee-dee-da. Uh-oh. My bar has almost filled, meaning I've almost overtaken Lux. I have two options. Number one, I can turn off my tank stance, and I can continue doing things. And if she leaves hers on, she would continue to build more aggro than I am, and it would be okay. Number two, if it's really a problem, I can target her, and this is where Shirk comes into play. I can execute Shirk, and now, half of my mana has gone to her. Well, I think a quarter. Yeah, a quarter of my mana. Or, not mana. Wow, listen to me. My enmity generated has gone to her. Now she has a lot more enmity. or aggro, and I have a lot less, and it fixes the problem, at least temporarily. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my stance back on, though. Let's see. That's kind of how enmity works. Oh, hold on. Let's talk about tank swaps. So there's going to be a lot of attacks in the game that or there's going to be a lot of attacks during high-end content where if you are the main tank and you are getting targeted by a tank buster, a lot of the time it's going to put a very special debuff on you when you get hit by it that makes you take more damage from the boss for like 40 seconds or something like that. Or a minute, or however long it is, right? Those debuffs are called tank swap mechanics. And what that means is that when that attack goes off, you need to swap your tanks, thus the name, tank swap, such that the other one is the main target of aggro. And how you do that is very simple. It is one button. It is provoke. Now, PSA, if I catch you using provoke as a part of your rotation in things like alliance raids, or normal trials, or normal raids, or things like that, content where it is not necessary, I will come and break your shin. Your shins are mine. Stop using it. You don't need to spam it. Because what happens is, imagine this is a boss, right? Imagine this is a boss, and Lux is the main target of aggro. And it's throwing all sorts of attacks her way, and they all have cleaves, like we covered earlier. Where if you're standing behind the main tank, you get hit for a fudge ton of damage. And I just go hee hee hoo hoo ha ha, I'm gonna hit provoke. Now, the boss spins around and decides to throw a cleave my way. And if I'm standing in front of the entire party and a cleave is thrown my way, congratulations, I've just killed the entire rest of the party with one button. And it will be your fault. And everyone will laugh at you after they're done being mad. Don't use provoke unless it's necessary. Please. Please, I'm so tired of random tanks in alliance raids and dungeons or not dungeons, but trials and raids and crap. Just using provoke on cooldown. If you want to be main tank, turn on your stance in the little like blue circle or whatever at the beginning of the trial or whatever. Turn on your stance and leave it on. That is a signal to the other tank that, hi, I would like to main tank. And if they're kind or whatever, most tanks don't care, they'll just turn theirs off. And I think we're going into an ad break, right? Sorry, bot. Are we going into an ad break? Maybe not? Okay. If you would like to main tank, just turn on your darn stance, man. Just turn on your darn stance. And open with your ranged attack. Because your ranged attacks as a tank, these guys, have increased enmity generation. More than normal attacks. So, open with one of these. So, Shield Lob on Paladin, Lightning Shot on the Gunbreaker, Tomahawk on Warrior, and Unmend on Dark Knight. Those guys have increased enmity generation. So open the fight with one of those, and then just leave your stance on. You'll do fine, I promise. If you want to main tank, decide at the beginning of the fight. Don't decide in the middle, and then just decide to hit provoke because you decided you want to have main character energy. And now the boss is turning around and looking at all the rest of the squishy DPS like a freaking starving hippo with a freaking feast in front of it. 30-second ad break. Okay. I will take a break. But, regardless, point made. Please, please, please save provoke for when it is necessary. Provoke is also... Well, I'll save this for a second. Hold on. Ad break. It's just 30 seconds. You'll be fine. Are we back, Saribot? Are we back? Welcome back. Okay. Another place, like, basically don't use it unless it's absolutely necessary. Another place where you can use it, though, if a tank died and the boss is now wandering over to a healer like a freaking it just detected a delicious snack or something, and it's like, ooh, gimme, gimme. Red Bull lets you beat up alligators. That's a good time to hit provoke. That's a very good time to hit provoke, because you don't want the boss attacking your squishies. But please, oh please, oh please, if another tank has this A, do not hit provoke unless you know for certain it is necessary. If you don't know, don't hit it. It is not part of your rotation. It does not do damage. You do not need to build enmity in this game like you do in other MMOs. You build enmity by doing damage, so just do damage. That's all you gotta do. And then, like, turn on and off your tank stance to make sure you don't overtake them in aggro. That's all you gotta do, I promise. It's really simple. You don't gotta hit provoke on cooldown. You don't gotta hit your ranged attacks. You don't gotta hit your AoEs, which also have increased enmity, by the way. You don't gotta hit any of those. Just do your thing, okay? Soapbox over. Anyway. 3 more specific terms that I want to cover. Thank you guys for helping me. So number 1. And this is specific to high-end raids. But number 1. When we load into a raid, right? Or an extreme trial, or a savage raid, or whatever. This whole instance is referred to as a lockout because we are locked in here for an hour. We have an hour-long lockout, right? Sometimes you'll have a 2-hour lockout, depending on the duty or what that you're doing. Sometimes you'll have 3 hours, but it's referred to as a lockout, right? When you hear me referencing we're gonna reset the lockout, all that means is you open your duty finder and you hit leave. That's all that means. Oh wait, hold on. I need a fight with death walls. A fight with death walls. A death wall that will actually kill me. Oh, this'll kill me, actually. Anyway. So, couple more terms. So, number 1, there's lockout, which is just, you know, the instance, right? Fiemsch, yes, Fiemsch. He has walls that'll kill me. I have no doubt of that. All right, Fiemsch, come here. Oh yeah, this one also has sound cues, by the way. For those of you in the raids, turn up your volume because this one has sound cues. Okay, I gotta actually do mechanics. Hold on, because I need the walls to disappear. There we go. Okay. Come on, disappear your walls. Okay. So, when we refer to a wipe is just an instance where everybody dies. If we're talking about, like, go ahead and wipe, or go ahead and, whatever, right? We're just talking about everyone go die. Everyone go stand in all the AoEs. We need to reset the fight. Everyone go die, right? Walling is a specific subset of that, where if you have death walls or ledges like this, walling just means, hey, everyone go jump off the ledge. That actually doesn't instantly kill me. I didn't realize the ocean was solid underneath. I just learned something new today. That's incredibly funny. And then the last term I want to teach people before we end the stream for tonight, because I realize we've gone on long enough. Is when you're doing raids and stuff like that, you're gonna hear me reference pulls. I'm gonna talk about pulls or pulls on like pulling the boss, or pull time, or PT. So a pull is just initiating the engagement with the boss. I hit my ranged attack, I have pulled the boss. Even if I'm not pulling the boss literally to me, because the boss is chilling over there, I've still pulled the boss, because I've initiated the fight. Pull time is a little bit more unique. You'll see that, or it's a little more niche. You'll see that typically in, like, field operations, things like Eureka, Basja, that sort of thing. Oh, he does do his things. Okay. Hello. Beamsh. Anyway. I'm just gonna exist here, I don't care. But yeah, that's what, like, a pull time references either the clock here on the lockout, or if it's like a fate, it'll reference the time left on the fate, or pull time will be, I'll go over here to party and I'll hit countdown and I'll start a countdown, and that'll be the pull time. Will be 13 seconds until pull time, 10 seconds until pull time, 5 seconds, however much, right? Man, Leviathan is, like, really trying his heart out. But anyway, he's not gonna be able to kill me. He's really not. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I've not seen him do 2 dashes before. That's interesting. Anyway, sorry, I'm studying the boss for research purposes. But anyway, all right, everyone die. Everyone, all of you idiots perish. You stinking idiot. I gotta actually do the mechanics. This is gross. This is gross. Perish. Die, you stinking fish! I can't leave combat or I can't leave the dungeon while I'm in the middle of combat. Die, you where's the stupid fish? Stupid freaking... I gotta do this. This is stupid. But anyway, I think I explained pulls. I think I explained pull times. You gonna do your thing? Yeah, do your thing. I don't care. I have enough health. I don't care. There we go. Finally. Okay. Anyway. Pulls, I think, were the last thing I wanted to explain, was what a pull meant, because you're going to hear me reference that a lot, especially if you come raid in the Discord. But anyway, I think that is everything for right now. Yeah, if you want to come try raiding, if you want to come get your feet wet and come have fun, okay, so I will explain one more thing. In case you are curious, I raid with specific settings on. You do not have to do this when you do high-end content. But what I do is I enable minimum item level and I enable silence echo when we do raids on weekends and stuff. Like when I host them in the Discord, I run this. And what this means is that, number one, everyone is synced down to the minimum item level required to enter the duty, meaning nobody gets benefits from being item level 700 or item level 100. Everyone is synced down to the same level. Everyone does the same amount of damage. Number two, what this button does is it makes it to where, so normally when you are in high-end content and if you die or wipe after X amount of time has passed after fighting him, you'll receive what's called an echo buff, which gives you like a stacking 5% damage, health, and healing buff across the board for everyone. So it's a pretty huge damage buff. And for every time you trigger the echo, it stacks like up to a plus 20% or plus 25% or something like that. To facilitate clearing a duty that is no longer current. That is what this is intended for. However, because I run raids for the sake of learning them and for the sake of learning how to actually do that content, I disable both. I sync everyone down to the minimum item level so that everyone is on an even playing ground, and I disable the echo because I would rather get our clear because we did mechanics correctly than get our clear because we just do an absurd amount of damage. That is what I do. You do not have to do that if you want to go set up your own parties and go in your own party finder and whatever. You do not have to do that. That is your prerogative. I do that because I am a masochist and a sadist and I enjoy watching the pain of others. But you don't have to do that. But I think that is everything. At least as far as we haven't gone into like actual rotations and like how to put together a rotation, but that's okay. That will be next time. Is all about dealing the maximum amount of damage you can possibly deal and how to figure out your rotation. So we have talked about a lot today. Does anybody have any final questions before we head on out here? Any other grandstanding, I don't know, stuff that that you guys want to hear about, or any other questions, any other comments, any other concerns, any other curiosities, whatever. It is totally... You had fun? I'm glad. I'm glad you had fun. Sorry, I was just going to pick someone to raid. But anyway, if there are no more questions, again, this will be posted up to YouTube. If you did not have a chance to catch the stream, do not worry. I will post this to YouTube, and I will, the party comp also doesn't matter too much as a side note. It does and it doesn't, but that will be next time. We'll talk about party comp, we'll talk about role buffs, we'll talk about all that next time. Yeah, I'm raiding Wolfie. But we'll talk about party comp, we'll talk about how, you know, the advantages of playing one role over another, or how each role works, and how maybe even if we have time, how the different jobs within each role work and how they differentiate from each other, and you know, how you might be able to pick a main job. But anyway, that is gonna be all from me. I have yapped up a freaking storm. So, thank you guys so much for coming along. I really do appreciate it. I will see you guys all next time. You can look forward to stream on Saturday, which I am hoping to stream the one of the Saturday raids. Main job finding. Yeah. I can talk about how to find a main job. It's not as complicated as you might think, but like, I will have lots of commentary next time. I will probably do the part 2 to this stream next week. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for announcements about that. If you want to, you know, get updates as soon as they're available, I will post them to Discord. So if you would like to join the Discord, you will hear the updates the soonest in there. And yeah, that's kind of all I got, Chief. Thank you guys so much for coming out to join me. Thank you guys for being here and being awesome. And I hope to see you guys all in raids with the Neon Steel Company. It will be lots of fun, and it will definitely have lots of wiping, because death is funny to me. People failing mechanics is funny to me. Sue me. I don't care. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming along. I will see you guys all on Saturday, hopefully. We will be raiding Wolfie, Wolf Girl 9876. There we go. And there's the Twitch link if you guys don't get taken along to the raid, there's her Twitch link. Thank you guys so much for coming along. I really do appreciate you guys being here. And I will see you guys all later. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Be sure to take care of yourselves. Get water, get snacks. Be well rested and stuff. And yeah, you guys be good now. Bye-bye!